Alright, this video is going to be titled Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. And then in parentheses, why Sheldon Cooper was completely wrong. Okay, so last review was for Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, a good Star Trek movie. Now we'll talk about Star Trek V, a, shall we say, not so good Star Trek movie. Let's face it, it sucked. Now, Star Trek V: The Final Frontier, it does have some funny moments. Unfortunately, that cannot rescue this train wreck of a movie. Even things like Lawrence Luckenbill's performance as Cybok, I actually thought was, kind of an interesting character. Just wasn't enough to save this movie. I mean, it even had David Warner in it, and it was still a stink bomb. So that ought to tell you something. So one of the reasons that it fails so miserably is because it's a watered-down version of what Gene Roddenberry originally intended. And if Gene Roddenberry had gotten his way, it would have been an even worse movie. Because Roddenberry wanted them to find God, not an entity posing as God, but actually God, and to show everyone that God was insane and evil. Because Gene Roddenberry was an anti-theist, not content enough to simply be an atheist and not believe in God, but had to destroy the entire concept of God. So, anyway, somebody at Paramount probably said, you know what, it's probably not a good idea for us to alienate and insult like 2/3 to 3/4 of our audience, so might want to tone this down a little bit. Of course, the movie today would fly completely. Disney would put it out because companies like Disney don't give a shit about their audience and are completely content to lose hundreds of millions of dollars at a time. So it would work today. And anyway, there is a scene in The Big Bang Theory where Sheldon Cooper is having a conversation with Rajesh Koothrappali, and they're talking about Star Trek, and Sheldon Cooper, his opinion was that Star Trek, the motion picture, Star Trek 1, it's called, was worse than Star Trek V: The Final Frontier. And he lists all these failures for Star Trek: The Motion Picture, none of which are true. It fails in costuming. No, it doesn't. Now, okay, the Starfleet uniforms are pretty terrible. I mean, who really wants to see Stephen Collins's package? Not me. But, okay, I'll give him that. Set construction? No, it was perfect. Special effects? No. The music? No, it was great. Here's the thing. Star Trek, the motion picture, was dull and boring. Star Trek V: The Final Frontier was ridiculous and embarrassing. That's the difference. And not only that, Sheldon Cooper even said that Star Trek 4 was better than Star Trek 2, and we all know that's ridiculous. So Raj was right on both counts. The best one was Wrath of Khan. The worst one was Final Frontier. Okay, so that's my review for Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. And, yeah, so I guess the next one is going to wrap up the original cast movie series with Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. So stay tuned for that one.